What's good? Let's check in on the ladies of The View. How are they doing? What are they up to? They're always so brilliant and insightful.
Republicans, but what's also surprising to me is the abortion issue. I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
Why?
It's almost like roaches voting for Raid, right?
I think that's
Right? Wait, right? Right? It's right?
I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
Wait, what did you say? So she said white Republican. Let's bring that back one more time.
I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women.
So she said white Republican. So she's drilling down into especially Democrats. Every pollster gets into these demographics, which that's fine if that's what they want to do. They find the information valuable. For me, I don't, because I either have principles or not. I don't change my message depending on the color of your skin or your gender even. But she's drilling it down, very specific. So white Republican. So let's stop there. Let's just stop there. So you're talking about white Republicans, and we're shocked that they're voting Republican?
That white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
Why?
And then Joy says, why?
Going to vote Republican.
Why?
It's
Because she's like, why? We're telling you not to. Why would you do that? I don't know, Sunny. Maybe because they're Republican. And you shouldn't hate all those Republicans. A lot of them are like this rhino you have on the show with you as you compare them to roaches. And what is she mad about? The rhino up here that used to be with Trump? She's mad that you're disrespecting the voters' opinion. And I agree with that. But can we address the roach part just, I don't know, just for a second?
almost like roaches voting for Raid, right?
I think that's
And then she says, right? Like when you think you say something based or you want someone to follow your conversation, right? Like white Republican suburban women, they're kind of like roaches, right?
They're voting.
no, it's
They're
insulting.
voting roaches voting for Raid.
They're kind of like roaches. And not only are they like roaches, they're like dumbass roaches that are voting for their own raid to kill them.
To vote Republican.
Why?
It's almost like roaches voting for Raid, right?
I think
Look at her eye. This is how she has that glazed over look. She does it every time. I've pointed it out multiple times with her. I might do a mashup. Every single time she says one of these things. And because I think she knows what she's saying is disingenuous and it's pretty much evil, hateful, obviously. If you're saying everybody makes mistakes. Like I'll make an analogy and do something that doesn't make sense. Maybe like compare it to a dog or something like that because I got a dog on my mind. Right after you say it, you're like, oh, wait, hold up. That's a bad one. Let me change it. She didn't. Well, I didn't watch the whole episode, but right after it happened, that didn't happen.
Right?
I think
they're voting.
no, it's
They're
insulting
voting
to the voter.
they're voting
real quick,
against their own self-interest.
talk
Do they
on
want to
this
live
show?
in guilt?
So it's insulting to the voter. Is it insulting to white suburban Republican women that might be watching your show? Let's address that first.
Okay,
Okay, so do we love
in the hands?
do we love
tail?
democracy or not? Because just saying that it's
The elephant in the room is she just compared white suburban women, Republicans, to roaches. That's the elephant that just entered the room, and there's no discussion of it. Now, notice this show, The View, they had a lot of people audition for that rhino spot, and they didn't settle in on anyone who would push back on Sunny on that. There's only one political party that supports this type of language that doesn't speak out against this, and that's the Uniparty, GOP and Dems. Let me talk about the Dems first. The Democrat Party is boiling down to nothing more than white people who allow black women, they cosplay and pretend to let black women have dominance over them. That's the whole Democrat Party. White elitists, and I don't look at race like that, people who identify as white. So let me clarify that because I try not to group people like this anymore. Maybe I did in the past, but I'm evolving because I'm seeing how evil it goes down that path of roaches when you go down that path, always. So the Democrat Party agrees with that statement. They don't condemn the statement. I don't want them to condemn anything. If you feel it's bad, you would come out on your own. So don't condemn it if you don't really have a problem with it. So Democrats feel like that statement's accurate. Remember, Jamel Hill said America loves white supremacy after she said white suburban, same demographic, voted for Youngkin in the Virginia gubernatorial special election. So the Democrat Party is white elites. It's boiling down to that. Black men are like, I'm out. I can't. I can't do this. Y'all hate me as well. It's that intersectionality. Black women have more intersectionality than black men, so they go after white men, white women, than black men. Black women feel like they have some power. Sunny can say this because she has power. That's all it is. It's boiling down to white elites who allow black women to dominate them. They're pretending to let that happen. See, look at that stage. Not one of them, at least in that clip, said anything. If you had anybody who's a populist right, anybody who's MAGA on that stage, what do you think Carrie Lake would have said at that moment? What do you think Marjorie Taylor Greene would have said at that moment? They're not afraid. Your dominance as a black woman, I think that's my impression. If Sunny identifies as that, that's the whole deal. The deal is we support whatever the cabal tells us to support. These black elitists, these talented 10th type, we will support it as long as you give us power. That racism is a euphemism for power. So now I'm a black woman, because obviously a white woman couldn't be able to say, you black voters, you're roaches and rate. That wouldn't happen, right? So they had a lot of people audition for that Rhino spot. Nobody that they kept would have pushed against that. And I hope ABC, I wish they put The View on 24/7, 365 days a week. Because the more you play this stuff, the more you solidify the red tsunami that's coming. When you go to the voting booth, I want you to listen to this. I want you to think about this. We're not even at a policy point right now. I'm going to push MAGA on policy, but we're on just a survival point. ABC thinks this is okay. I haven't heard any apology. I'm not telling anybody to apologize. Don't apologize if you don't want to. I just haven't heard anything. Maybe something came out today. But here's what. When you go to the voting booth or you got that mail-in ballot, I want you to think about this.
I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
Why?
It's almost like roaches voting for Raid.
When you pick up your ballot, I want you to think about that. Now, voting red all the way down doesn't change that, because you've got red on the stage that doesn't even, she's supposedly red. On the stage, she doesn't even push back at that moment at least. So you can vote Republican down the ballot to make it easier. That's fine. But understand, they're not all MAGA. That's not where it's going. Sunny has that in her head. So you're comparing that. I don't know if it was premeditated, it's even worse, but you're talking about white suburban women, your own audience, Republicans, and the first thing to compare them to, because all she's trying to say is you're voting for your own demise. So if she had said that, that's no problem. But what's in her head is like, you guys are like roaches. And when Joe Biden said, you ain't black when you don't vote for me, every type of demographic, patriots of the American Republic talked about that. They kind of identify more Latino. That's the friend of show, Carlos and Salu. And they talked about it because they looked at it like they played chess. They're like, wait a second, I'm not black, but I'm looking at how you treat black people. You said they're not black if they don't vote for you? Where'd that come from? So what that means is you ain't white. You ain't even human if you don't vote for me. They apply the same logic to all of them. I'm going to end with this. We're seeing the end of a political party. It's over. It's a dying party. No, things could change, but we're seeing a party that's dying, fading politically. Democrats, Ron DeSantis reportedly looking like he's going to be close or could even win Miami-Dade. This is an urban area. There are a lot of Cubans down there, to my knowledge. I've never been to Miami, actually. I've been to Florida, but not Miami. But from what I read, there's a lot of Cubans down there, and they ain't feeling this. And you could see an urban area go red. All these things, Fetterman, Oprah just endorsed Fetterbot. They're going mask off, and you're seeing them grasp for straws and literally calling white women Republican, literally comparing them to cockroaches. I just did a thread talking about women. Are there any women that watch this channel? I might need to hear from you on what you think about that. Let me know what you think. Take care.